when I say self-development, I'm talking mindset, physical aspect, spiritual journey. The way I look at what I'm doing, I believe it's a ministry. When you hold certain emotions in, they stay in.
But did you ever experience burnout?
Totally. What's going on, God? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Again, I remember when I came back from London, another depression.
Oh my God, no, I'm gonna have to cut. Should we pray first?
Pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, well, this is a good way to set the tone.
Fantastic way.
Yeah, that was a bit stressful.
Yeah, you stressed?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Things always turn out to work out, the right way.
All right, let's do this.
All right, showtime.
All right, Christian.
Yes.
As a personal trainer and gym owner, what patterns do you see in people who truly transform versus the ones who stay, stuck year after year?
Wow, okay. So we're diving right into it.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. The pattern that I would say I see in most people that are successful in my programs, honestly, it's pretty simple. It all comes down to habits. Okay. People that have build the right habits, B, focus on consistency and not motivation, meaning that they don't go off of doing things based on how they feel, but mostly based on what they know they have to do in order to generate a certain result. Those are usually the people that are successful in attaining their goals, not only attaining, but also in keeping it.
I see.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of that?
Yes, totally. So, perfect example. Actually, before I give an example, I like giving analogies too.
Okay.
So, as a personal trainer, I like calling myself a coach instead of a personal trainer because I think there's a nuance. Personal trainers usually focus mostly on physical training, whereas coaches help you build the right habits, a good and strong mindset, and everything else that encompasses self-development. Now, speaking of self-development, I'm also a self-development coach, and one of the things that inspired me to do that are all the self-development books that I read. One of my favorite books is what was that one? The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
I've read that one too. Yeah. Changed my life.
Game changer. So I wanted to start off with that. So I read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and there is, I think in the beginning, in the intro, he gives this example where he shows how your habits can compound over time, right? So the question was, what would you take, if I give you 5 seconds to answer this, okay? What would you take between $3 million right now, this very second, or a penny that doubles every day for 31 days? What would you take?
Okay, look.
3.
I think I would write 5 million and then I'll invest it in Bitcoin.
5 million, okay.
But I'll buy Bitcoin and then I'll let it compound.
There you go, but it's 3 million actually. So
3 million, yeah.
Now here's the catch. So yes, 3 million, which is good. Yes, you can invest it in Bitcoin, and yes, over time it will compound, but you're actually gonna make more money if you take the penny that doubles every day for 31 days. Now here's how the compound effect works, right? The way like our habits compound over time. So if you take the penny, by day 10, you're only of it doubling every day, you're only at $5. By day 20, you're only at, I think it's $5,000. So it doesn't seem like you're gonna get to 3 million plus by day 31, but actually by day 30, you're at 5 million, and by day 31, you're at 10 million. So basically in the beginning, you don't really see the changes, but what it does is it grows deep roots of all these positive things. So basically you're building a foundation first so that you can handle whatever gets added on top of it.
So basically consistency versus motivation.
Exactly. So when you're consistent, you build everything step by step, and your foundation is solid. Once your foundation is solid, then you can sustain anything that you add on top of it. So that's usually the biggest game changer I would say that I would see. Right now, I've been working with a lot of business owners, and some of them are somewhat healthy, like yourself. But I also have others that are successful, but became successful at the expense of their health, right? So it's like they sacrifice their health to be successful. But one thing they forget is that, you can't buy wealth, you can't buy health no matter how wealthy you are. And the thing is, they've been able to build a certain level of consistency in their business, and that's why they're successful. So sometimes with clients like that, it's easier to have that level of consistency translate over to their health because they already understand the process of how things work.
Got it. Yeah. And actually, like, that makes a lot of sense because it's so hard to motivate yourself. And even if there's someone motivating you, what happens when there's no one to motivate you? What happens when you can't motivate yourself? So you just, let it go, right? And forget all the hard work you've been doing. But when you're consistent, you show up even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly.
Right? Next question.
Yep.
Do you believe transformation starts in the body, the mind, or the spirit first? And why?
And why?
Yeah.
Fantastic question. So I can give two examples. I can give an example that pertains to me specifically, and another example that may be a different answer that I've seen in somebody else. So for me, I'm a Christian, and I grew up in a Christian home. And at some point, I would absolutely say that I derailed from God's way and God's path, right? But the thing that changed me and led me to where I am right now, it's because I was seeking physical changes. I mean, I saw the changes, but I didn't feel how I wanted to feel. Then I was seeking emotional and the mental, same thing. And I knew there was always, a missing gap, right? But the moment I started focusing on keeping my posture towards God and just building that relationship with Him, the rest came. So me as a Christian, I would say in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, one of my favorite verses, it says, seek first the kingdom of God and everything shall be added onto you. So I totally believe that it starts with your spiritual journey, your relationship with God. And once you can focus on that and get it where it should be, then the rest will come. The rest will add on, because everything, like all this, the secrets to life is in the Word of God. It's in the Bible. A lot of quotes that you hear nowadays, or things that you read in books, a lot of these principles are biblical principles. So that will be for what pertains to my situation. Now, for other clients, I would say it starts with, for some people, I would say it starts with the physical aspect of things. Now, the physical aspect of things, as in you go out and get some help for somebody to help you, right? Kind of get a head start, get started, all right? So let's say I've worked with some clients that saw nutritionist, therapist, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's really about how you really actually feel inside, and also how you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror. Right. So from what I've seen, a lot of people that have been able to just help physically first, help them get the wheel moving, right? Which then led into a domino effect for the rest, for the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional. Yeah.
All right.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Even for me, I've always been the kind of girl who would go to the gym, but I was never consistent, right? But when I deepened my relationship with God, and it happened like a couple or few years ago, 2-3 years ago, I feel like, going to the gym and trying to make sure I'm healthy makes so much more sense, because the way I see it now is that God gave us this body, right? And it's for us to maintain it. We should not take it for granted.
Totally.
And I guess that's also why one of the 7 deadly sins is gluttony, right? I mean, it makes so much sense, and also it's also a form of self-respect.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah.
It all makes sense to me.
Yeah, self-respect and self-love too.
And self-love, yeah. And it's also like your way of being like, okay, God, I am grateful for everything you've given me, including this physical body, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that it's healthy, I'm healthy, and that, you know, I don't take it for granted.
Totally. You know, and to add to that, it's a very good perspective because you can't fill from an empty cup. All right. So if you don't take care of your body, all right, you're going to constantly be in a deficit of some sort. All right. And if you are, you're going to start seeing some gaps at some point in your life, whether it can be in your relational life with your spouse or significant other, with your children, with your business. The way you take care of your physical body will reflect in every other area of your life. Yeah.
And what does it take to be a business owner / entrepreneur who still makes time for fitness or any kind of physical activities or physical training, especially with a demanding schedule like you, because you're not only a coach, you're not only a business owner, right? You're also a DJ.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have like a community too that you're growing.
A men's
right?
support group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. To me, I always say this every time somebody asks me like, how do you do or what this is? For me, I always say that it's God that sustains me. Now, speaking from my situation, I'm pretty lucky because I get to do what I love for a living. Right? I get to help. Like one of my biggest passions is being able to help someone go from point A to point B to C and really just seeing that transformation. Like I actually get more excited and get happier for other people when they win than I do for myself. So that's one. And then the second thing is I'm in the fitness industry, so I have to train. I have to take care of my body because it's my marketing, tool. It's what inspires people, because if I'm not fit, when people look at me, then they'll clearly see that I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. But for other business owners, like the ones that I work with, that are also super busy, it's a question of just making time for what's important and what's a priority. Like I have a business owner that I'm currently working with, super busy. He has 3 kids, right? Wife at home. He doesn't have the time, but now he carved out that 1 hour right after work he gets his butt kicked. I destroy him. We do that 3-4 days a week. And then he goes back home and, takes care of what he has to take care of. So at the end of the day, we all have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, as Barack Obama, as Jeff Bezos, right? It's just a question of what do we do with the time that we have? And, the Bible talks about being a good steward, right? And being a good steward, for me, it's not only about being a good steward of the money that you will get blessed with or that you already have. It's being a good steward of every opportunity, the time that you have. This time that we have together is an opportunity, or we're getting to exchange. The conversations that we have, when I see you at the gym, right? And stuff like that, right? So these are stewarding relationships, time, effort, energy, and all those things are key. All right. So I think, again, back to what you were asking, like how I manage that, I try to prioritize what's most important. All right. So for me, it goes my relationship with God. All right. My significant other, spouse, not married yet, it's coming. Family, all included in one. And then I have my business and my family and friends, close friends, and then I have my business. So I think it's important to categorize what's important. One of my uncles is a pastor, and same, like, love my Uncle Sam, shout outs to you. But I remember I asked him, like, how do you set boundaries between, at being a pastor, you're like a public figure, right? Like, in a way, in your community and stuff. Like, how do you set boundary between like who you should give time to, because you also have your family, you have the church, he's like, well, you have to create a category of people. So you have circle number 1, number 2, number 3. Circle number 1 is are basically the people that you can trust the most with your life, with everything that you have. So they have to be integral, right? Friends and family. Circle 2 are people who should be in circle number 1, but maybe you don't share similar values, or maybe, when it comes to the trust factor, integrity, there's certain things that need to be worked on, right? And then circle 3 is like acquaintances and stuff like that. But I still find myself caught up in not being able to do that. But yeah, it's just prioritizing and trying to stay organized, which is really tough to do.
And how do you manage your energy? Because it's a lot.
So you need to know where you get your source of energy from, right? Well, me, I get my source of energy from the Lord because He sustains me. But what I mean by that is you need to know whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, right? So I'm an extrovert. I get my energy from being around
You're
people.
an introvert?
Extro.
Oh, extrovert. Okay.
Extrovert. Ooh, extrovert. So I get my energy from being around people. If you're an introvert, you recharge from taking a step back and being on your own. All right. Sometimes like I'm super tired, and if there's an event happening where I can, see some people I haven't seen in a while, I'm still gonna go because I feel like I get more rejuvenated seeing people than going home to sleep for 8 to 10 hours when I need it. So that's one. Two is just, God gave us I can say the command. So in Genesis, when He creates Adam, He tells him that He gives him the, I would say responsibility, obligation, power, and command to be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, subdue, and replenish, right? So when He's giving you that, I trust on my capacity based on who God is, not my own capacity as a person based on who Christian is. All right, so sometimes like when I'm tired, I just pray and it's just like I get a boost of energy. It's okay, let's get it done, right? So the same thing as for people, let's say, today I trained with a friend of mine and the both of us were extremely tired, all right? And I told him, I'm like, listen, I have a minor headache and stuff, but I'm like, these are the sessions that I look forward to. Why? Because it helps me build that stick to it muscle of like, regardless of how I feel, I gotta get it done. And when you always operate from that, where it's like you don't give yourself another choice or another option, then it becomes second nature.
Yeah. Oh my God, tell me about it. Like today I woke up, I had like a really, bad headache.
Yeah.
Since last night actually, like yesterday I was just so tired. That's why I went to the gym yesterday, right? Because I was like, oh my God, I don't even feel like working out. But then I remembered, what you would always tell me, consistency and showing up even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me just do this. Let me, tell my brain that I can do it even when I don't feel like it. So I showed up to the gym yesterday, even though I was tired. When I woke up this morning, I was having a headache. Then I'm like, okay, I prayed to, be in a position where I can start my own podcast one day. And I don't want to take anything for granted. So I'm going to show up. So and I also said that, I always prayed to be in a position where I can have my own business. So then when I woke up this morning, I started working on my skincare brand, right? I was like rendering tallow on the stove. And then after that, I started getting ready for the podcast. And when I got out of the house, it was like pouring rain. There's like a rainstorm. And I was like, this is actually exciting. Now I'm energized. Like I'm energized by the little struggles, right? It's kind of like, I guess, when you're riding a bike, you don't, it's slow a little bit, but once you start paddling, you go faster, right? And then you're just going at a faster speed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know, what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
But I have to give it to you. I mean, she's being humble right now. You've been working extremely hard since we met each other. We met last year in May, right?
Yeah.
And I think you were starting back into your fitness journey. But listen, you've come a long way. And I think now it's become so second nature. Sometimes you don't even realize that you were at a gym for like 4 days this past week.
Really?
I asked you the other day, I'm like, yeah, you came, I saw you 4 days this week. And you're like, was I? Yeah. So now it's becoming more second nature. And that's what you want to do. It has to become a lifestyle.
Yeah. And I don't just go to the gym. I also do I dance also. Like I do this dance practice that help me strengthen my body. So I change it up, right? Because also gym is not for everybody. Like some people, they don't like going to the gym, but whatever physical activity that helps you be more in shape or at least get moving, just go for it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's I like that.
And so, Christian, you seem to have built a full life, right? You have your own business, a healthy lifestyle, a social life, community, relationship with God. So we discussed all of that. And you said that, you get, your energy from God. Yeah, because when I, just hearing everything that you're doing, I'm like, okay, it sounds like, really positive and it's amazing and it's inspiring.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there were times when you're like, you burnt out,
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? I'm really glad that you asked this question because it's true. what people see out there on social media are just the highlights of the great moments that we all experience and get to see, but they don't see what's going on behind the scenes. All right, like what's going on behind the scenes right now. I've absolutely experienced some hard times in my life. So I'll just give you guys a quick sort of background story. So I used to live I'm born in Congo, moved when I was 9, lived in Ottawa for 9 years, finished high school, moved straight to Montreal. I was a university varsity athlete at Concordia University, playing basketball, then played football, but because of my eligibility, because I had to take some time off, because again, I was struggling with a few things. So then I decided, you know what, man, let me get a job, all right? So I tried a bunch of different 9-to-5 jobs. I mean, insurance, call centers and all that stuff, you name it. It just wasn't for me. Like, I can get a job easily, but after a month, I was just bored. I was like, nah, this is not for me, not for me, not for me. So I dabbled around maybe for a year and a half, and then I decided to pursue music. And at the time, that's when DJs were the new rock stars at that time, right? Like the David Guettas and Tiestos and all those guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make music. So I had another friend of mine from the US. He's a producer now, actually. He has a label in New York. And we're both like just two very broke students, almost, I would say, dropout students.
Aww.
And I remember we're like drinking our lives away. We're drinking beer with the last $20 we had in our bank account.
Oh, wow. I'm sure a lot of people can relate though, right?
And then I heard a song he played that I never heard before, and it was nice. And I'm a huge fan of house music. That's actually one of the genres that got me into music, to DJing. And then I asked him who it was. He told me it was him. I'm like, you produce? He's like, yeah. So I asked him to play me more music. He played me more music. Good stuff. And I was like, okay. Like, it's like I had an idea right away that just kind of sparked up. I'm like, God, bro, from now on, let's create a group. You know, I'll be the DJ, you'll be the producer. That's how we started. And then I think I learned some phases of business, because we had to actually raise some money to buy our first mixer and computer. So I understood what it was like, you know, when it comes to raising funds for a business and stuff. And then we started. Things were moving all right. I mean, we were really pushing it. We even almost had an investor invest like $30,000 in us to build our own studio, but that ended up falling through, personal reasons. And then we kind of parted ways, and then I got into music, blah, blah, blah. So the life I used to live pre-COVID was a complete 180 shift from the life I'm living today. At that time, as I said before, my relationship, there was a disconnect between God and I just felt like we're just so distant. But that's a lie, because God is always there, right? But that's what I thought at the time. Lived a different type of life, and I was in the partying and the traveling. And then right before COVID, in 2018, I get my first international booking. I go back to Congo for the first time in 17 years. And it was just amazing. Like, it was a paid for gig, flight, best hotel in the country I was staying at. My sister took care of that. Phenomenal experience. And I was like, man, like, I can get used to this. Like, this would be great if I can be an international DJ. The following year, like I told you, I'm huge in self-development. I read a book called The 12 Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. And I'm actually rereading it right now. Amazing book. And one of the principles, I think he was talking about the importance of doing things for free to show your value so that people want to work with you. And then I met this lady who is an associate of mine. She owns an event planning agency and traveling agency in the south of France. We connected, and then she told me, listen, I just hired people, so I can hire you. I said, no problem. Like, I just want to work and be around you guys and come to the office and help you with your business. I did. I landed her a client. And then 2019, she's like, hey, I may have a booking for you in the south of France. She books me in the south of France. It was a movie.
Wow.
Phenomenal experience.
Wow, that's amazing.
South of France. And so 2019 was like breakout year. Like, I started the year in Miami in February, south of France in May. Then I was in the States all throughout the summer. And then in September, I had a gig in Mexico. And then through, again, my associate Karine, I had a great trip to Istanbul, Turkey. So like all these things were just happening all at once.
You just
like,
suddenly became an international DJ.
You see, so I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
And how old were you at that time?
So I'm 33 now, so this is 2019 minus, oh, math is so bad, 26 at the time.
You were 26 years old.
26 years old. So it's like, I thought I was living the dream. because it just felt right. I'm traveling.
It feels like you were living
earning
the dream.
a bit of money here and there, and I'm DJing everywhere, and I'm going in the city, and and I was also a fashion influencer, and I was getting all these like brand partnership deals, and with Hennessy, with menswear companies, I had a partnership with Timex watches.
Wow.
Like all those things, and I was like, okay, this is it, right? But little did I know that was my will and not God's will for my life. Then 2020 looked promising. I had a bunch of international bookings lined up. We're talking Dubai, we're talking Lebanon, we're talking the States, we're talking Jamaica, and then boom, COVID hits. It literally swept me off my feet, so really, really unexpected. So I can say that was definitely the first time I experienced depression. Thank God it wasn't long. It wasn't very long. It was maybe for like 2-3 weeks, because when that happened, I went from being somebody that, people used to text every day. Kondo, where are you at tonight? What are we doing tonight? Kondo this, Kondo that. But then you realize that lifestyle, people usually want you around because of what you can do for them. But they're not really they don't really genuinely care to see how you're doing. So when the pandemic happened, my phone stopped ringing. I wasn't getting the, are you okay? How's, you're not working. Are you able to, make ends meet? Blah, 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 blah. And that's when I realized, hey, you really have to choose your circle of people, properly, right? So I was okay. And then I was alone for a bit. And then that's also what really helped me just start looking back to God, because I was like, Christian, like, you read all these self-development books, just pick up the Bible and just start reading the Bible, which I did. And then of course my uncle being a pastor, his church was doing a morning devotional every morning at 7 in the morning. So I started doing that. So this is also something that helped me change my lifestyle choices, because I went from being someone that used to go to bed at 5-6 o'clock in the morning, right, to then having to wake up at 6:30 so I could attend the devotional at 7 and then start my day from there. So like there was just a huge shift. So I just saw God's hand on my life and how he just maneuvered and orchestrated things around. And then I started 1% Better Fitness, which was basically online live group workouts, and that picked up. As that picked up, honestly, it was like every day I was waking up just excited. Like, God, I can't wait to see what you're gonna do today. God, and that was just like, hey, Christian, just wake up with that attitude and that heart posture every day. So that happened, and then from between May and we're still in 2020. Between May and December, the shift and the change and the growth, it was phenomenal. I was able to live off of my passion for fitness, helping people, building a community, and we even did a fundraiser to basically go out in the streets of Montreal and give homeless people Christmas gifts. We did that for Christmas in 2020, which I need to get back to doing. I need to do more volunteer work. But so that was phenomenal. And then 2021, and then crazy year 2021, full of blessings. And then 2022, that was different, because I went through a breakup, right? And that breakup was definitely, how can I put it? Of course it's hurtful, but it made me have to shift a lot of things that were going on in my mind. And then I was okay. And at that time, I was planning on moving to London, right, with the person I was with. So that didn't happen. But I was like, no,
London, UK?
London, UK. But I'm like,
because there's also London, Ontario.
Yeah, it's true. Not London, Ontario, London, UK. And I was like, I'm still going to London, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like the Lord was like, I never even told you to go to London in the first place, but I was like, I'm going to London. So I go to London for a month. And I stayed at my sister, she's out there. Good time and stuff. I traveled a bit around Europe, Portugal, France and stuff. Great time. And then when I came back, so this is 2022, October, I was like, okay, I got to start preparing, because I wanted to apply for this visa that Canadians are eligible for. So basically before turning 32, you can apply for a UK visa. I think it's a 2 or 5 year work permit visa, so you can go, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to get that. But the way things just started falling through and like not working between that time period, I was like, what is going on, God? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Again, I remember when I came back from London, another depression. Like, because before going to London, I sold my car. I had a nice apartment downtown, got rid of it, got rid of everything. I had 20 clients, one-on-one clients. So I was making decent money. And then I basically got rid of those clients because I was traveling. I was moving away. So when I came back, it's okay, some things that I had lined up fell through, and it was just like, again, another hole for like 2-3 weeks. I got sick, and just things just were not going well. So I would say, no, it lasted longer than that. From I would say from October 2022 until until March of 2023. Yeah, so for 5 months. So that was the first time I was really burnt out, depressed, like lost. Like, okay, what are we doing? Like God kind of, I'm seeing like his hand sometimes, and then I don't, and then, but I felt like it's like a season of wilderness that you have to, go through. And then I had my sisters, I have 7 amazing sisters. We had a siblings trip to New York, and that's like the boost I needed. Spending time with my sisters and seeing that they're always there for me regardless of what's going on in my life, regardless of whether I'm successful or not, or that was like exactly what I needed. So when I came back from New York, I was like, okay, God, like, what are we doing? Right. And then from there, things took off again, started rebuilding my client list and whatnot. And then in 2024, this is another reason why, having a good network and just being a nice person, is important. And not being a nice person because you expect something back in return, right? The Bible talks about, loving your neighbor like you love yourself. It's not so that you can go back to God and be like, God, I love my neighbor. Like, what are you going to do for me, right? It's just for yourself, right? And that lended me an opportunity to partner up with owners of a building that had a gym inside of their building, a phenomenal gym.
The one I go to,
exactly,
the one you own now.
Which is where I'm at now. So that lended that, and since then, boom, I get the gym. First time being an operator of a brick and mortar business.
And how old were you at that time? You were 32?
Yeah, 32. Yeah, just turned 32. And actually, I have to share this one too. So actually, right before getting the gym, all right, I remember early last year, I was okay, God, I want to know, like, what's the game plan? What are we doing? Where are we going? Because it feels like sometimes I make my own, I set my own goals, I make my own plans, but it's not in alignment with what he wants for me. And mind you, I don't have a conventional professional or educational background, right? I went to Concordia, I dropped out. So like just that, my parents always, when you come from immigrant parents, the kind of pressure they put on you, you need to go back to school or else this or else that, right? So that pressure from family, but at the same time, it's like I'm loving entrepreneurship and building businesses. So like figuring out, okay, what's important? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? But God has always shown me that he was with me. And I remember
there's a lot of entrepreneurs who did not graduate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're making a big and positive impact in the world or in people's lives.
Yeah, totally.
So
when I'll ask you to say that to my mom the next time. Because every time I tell her, she's like, yeah, but you need to know this. So, that's what I love her. But yeah, so long story short, I was prayed about it, and I watched an episode of The Chosen. And I remember, like, I saw the first 2 episodes.
I love The Chosen.
Phenomenal, right? Like,
made me cry.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, those 2 episodes, after seeing that, I'm like, God, I'm like, Jesus, I need those same miracles you did for, I think the first one was about Peter owing money or something like that, tax money and stuff. And the second one was about Thomas, right? At the wedding when Jesus turned water into wine. And then honestly, like, it just hit my core. And I was like, God, like, I need you to do something like that in my life. The next morning, I kid you not, one of my friends, 2 of them, they own a digital marketing agency in the building where my gym is today. So one of them reaches out to me. He's like, hey, Kondo, like, I saw him miss his call. Okay, he sends me a text, Kondo, call me. I woke up, it was like 8 a.m. I saw his missed call. I was like, I'll call him later. At 9 or 10, I see a message on Facebook Messenger. Kondo, call me ASAP. So I'm like, let me call him. I call him up and he's like, listen, I think there's an opportunity you might be interested in. So then he presents me the opportunity of the gym. I was like, this is insane. Because I was praying about this last night.
Wow.
So then, the rest just kind of rolled out and, led us here.
What an amazing story and so inspiring. And I really like the fact that we're getting to know you here. You're not just like this ideal man, who seems to have it all. Mm-hmm. You're also sharing with us that you did struggle. You even experienced depression, right? And God helped you get out of that. And it almost seems like when things didn't work out, it's because God was redirecting you to a better path. Like if you moved to London, you wouldn't have everything you have now. You wouldn't be with your significant other right now, who's amazing.
Thank you.
Literally Proverbs chapter 31 woman.
Hey, let's go.
And a doctor. Can I say that?
Of course.
She's amazing. She's saving lives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, thank you.
And I know, I love her. She's great,
Well,
and I'm
listen,
so happy for you, Christian.
She's gonna love hearing this when the podcast comes out.
She's ideal too.
Thank
You know
you.
what I
Thank
mean?
you,
So yeah, no, this is amazing. Like God really blessed you, and that's why I was like, I need to have Christian on my podcast. This is the second episode, and you're like the second person I'm interviewing because I'm
Yeah.
like, I learned so much from you.
Thank you.
And one thing I love about you too is that I feel like you had to experience those struggles and even depression so that you can also help others, like your clients who might be going through that. And I've seen you've helped clients who are going through that, and even someone close to me who's going through that. And I'm like, you're making a positive impact on people's lives, you know? And I'm like Christian, you're like God really blessed you, and I think you're gonna do so many bigger things in the world. Yeah. So keep it up.
Thank you so much, Margie. Appreciate you.
And I'm like getting emotional. This is so terrible.
No,
We're gonna have to cut
me
this.
too. I'm getting emotional myself.
Oh my God, no, I'm gonna have to cut.
I know, it's
Sorry, you're just like
Listen, this is as
Okay.
real as it gets. You know, this has,
I'm like I'm such a softie. Do we have a Kleenex?
Yeah.
We need Kleenex to sponsor this podcast
seriously,
episode.
you need them too.
Oh, okay. Maybe we're just gonna wrap it up too, like pretty soon.
I have some questions of my own, if you don't mind.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I ask them. But go ahead, say what you were gonna say.
Yeah, like honestly, like a lot of the questions I had was around God, like how faith and your relationship with God played a role in your personal development, and even like with your businesses and your personal life, right? And that's amazing. Now, as someone, right, who leads people daily in the gym, do you see yourself, because earlier you said you're not just a personal trainer, you're a coach. So how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as somebody who is there helping people transform their bodies and achieve their fitness goals? Or more as a coach who's there to help people transform not just their bodies and how they look, but also their character?
Totally. Phenomenal question. So my goal is to be the #1 self-development coach in the world. And when I say self-development, I'm talking mindset, physical aspect, and spiritual journey. The way I look at what I'm doing, I believe it's a ministry. A ministry doesn't only have to be like a church. When God blesses you with a certain gift or certain skills or a certain platform or whatever it is, you can turn that into a ministry by being the light in darkness, right? By being a tool or a vehicle that God uses to, bring more people close to Him. So that's how I view it. For me, it's more of a God give me a ministry. So it's like I have a church, right, at my gym, and when I'm there, I love people. Like I just love working with people. I'm a people's person, like. Sometimes people get like my girl's always like, Christian, like we need to go. Christian, you need to. She's always on my case, and she's right, because I need to, sometimes set certain boundaries and be more productive with, time. But I just love sitting down and, having chats, because I feel like when I'm having a conversation, especially with you, it's like I'm reading a book. You're telling me a story, right? And I'm learning, or I'm trying to see, I'm trying to find God in what's happening, and as you're telling me more about you, and I can also see how I could help in whatever whatever way, right? But yeah, so for me, it's like I have a ministry and I'm running this ministry, and I focus on the person that's in front of me. So I don't focus on money. All right. So for me, it's like if I have you in front of me, and let's say I have two offers, I have a $5,000 offer and I have a $500 offer. Of course, business-wise, selling for $5,000 would be more lucrative and better for the business. But if I don't see the value of giving that product or service to you because I don't think you need it and I think you can make a better use of that money somewhere else, I will tell you, because I really care about the person that's in front of me. And now when I start working with clients, some days clients have it, some days they don't. All right, so every session I do is different, and in the sessions, it's not just training; it's conversational. So as I am destroying your body, I'm also strengthening your mind by speaking to you about certain aspects of your life that you may be struggling with, and whatever session that we're doing, seeing how what we're learning during that session can also translates into wherever you're struggling or every other aspect of life. So yeah, I for me it's like I like seeing myself, and I want to be that self-development coach where I'm a one-stop shop. Like when you come to me, it's like we help work on every aspect, and I also have a team of other professionals that can also help. Like for instance, my girlfriend's a doctor, and we're putting together an offer. We've put together an offer already for business owners that do not have the time to go to the doctors and book appointments. So we're going to be running those assessments, physical assessments, medical support through a clinic at the gym. All right, so just things like that, because I like making sure that I can do as much as I can with my God-given possibility. And when I think like that, I always feel like whatever I'm doing is not enough, and I can always do more.
I love how you and your girlfriend, I don't want to say her name, maybe I'm not allowed, are just like this power couple, right? It's like this team. And I'm just gonna put all these questions here because I feel like questions are just coming out naturally now.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing how now you're telling me you're gonna start this offer where you and your girlfriend so you're offering personal training, right?
Yeah.
To your clients, and then she's also gonna be offering medical services to the same clients.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So they know, because what I understood is, as a coach, I mean, they come to me, I'm a professional, I know what I do from experience, from knowledge. However, and they also like having the security of, when you're a doctor, I mean, certified, it's okay, I'm going to listen to whatever the doctor says, right? So they like having that security of sitting down with the doctor, and the doctor telling them, oh no, you're okay with this. You don't have this problem. Let's do your blood check and see, what we need to work on, what we need to improve. So when they have that from a doctor, sometimes I feel like it hits them harder than when I tell them, listen, you're way overweight, way too overweight. We need to lose some fat. We need to build some muscle here. We need to fix your muscular imbalances. They'll listen to me because I have the notoriety in the fitness industry, but in the world, you'll listen to whatever a doctor tells you to do.
That's true. Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't wait to try out that service, right? Because I feel like training with you, as my coach, right? It wasn't just about achieving a fitness goal. So when we started working, I was in the process of running for office, and remember, I wasn't sure if I should do it, and we would spend more time meditating, praying, and me telling you about how I was having anxiety about the whole thing, than like actually working out. But you would still be like, okay, Margie, you know what? You came here, let's work out. So I feel like, honestly, I got so much value out of like working with you. Like you were not just like my personal trainer, you were also my life coach. You were like my psychotherapist. and I feel like I became a better person because I was working with you.
Oh,
and
glad to hear.
And I feel like it's a luxury, right? Like not everybody can afford having someone like that in their life, but also not everybody can find someone that they can hire who would serve those roles, right? And it's like, wow, like I'm like so blessed. And you're doing like something really good here.
Thank you.
So keep it up, Christian.
Thank you. But listen, we have to talk about you as well, because like I said, you inspire me also. Maybe I don't share this with you enough, but I do remember when we met and you told me you wanted to run for office. Listen, running for office is no joke. I don't think people understand what it takes. I mean, Chris behind the camera knows. It's a lot, because it's like you have to put yourself out there, and you're vulnerable. anybody can find out anything about you and start spreading rumors, and it's your livelihood, you know. And I think I didn't know how much it was until we started talking about it, and that's why I think it was important that we spent some time during our sessions really seeing, okay, like how can we make sure that you're fully prepared for, you know, anything that you may face or any obstacle that may come about. And just seeing how at first you weren't sure, and then I think you got the reassurance from the party, all right? Because a lot of people are like, no, definitely you should run. Plus me, I'm sure, plus your family and some people in the community. And then I remember, like I really saw it was happening when you did that event at Chez Alexandre. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like,
the fundraising event.
The fundraising event, and I saw the people that were there. I was like, okay, this is for real, you know. And just seeing how you've grown as a person during that entire process has been phenomenal. Your relationship with God, you discover more about yourself. You decided to quit work and focus on your business, right? A lot of people can't do that when they have a comfort.
I also burnt out, right? It's not even just like,
yeah, that too.
You know, and I was, you know, I was going through something personal too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm still a work in progress, right? Like, it's not like, you know, I'm up there now.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
So remember, we're all a work in progress, and we're always going to be a work in progress because it's impossible for everything to be good, right? Even when we think we made it, we have all the money, family, this, and that. Well, guess what? The older you get, your health declines at some point, right? We're always a work in progress, right? It's just we want to see more progress, all right? When we look at, you know, the bigger picture, right? There should always be, maybe when you're close to it, you'll see ups and downs, all right? Kind of like in the stock market, all right? But when you step back and you view the bigger picture, so like I was looking at stocks the other day, and one of my friends was talking about a specific stock, and I was looking at it from like, okay, how it performed in a month. But then when you zoom out 5 years, you're like, okay, it's been skyrocketing in 5 years, right? So that's how we also want to look at our progress. We can't, it's important not to make decisions or choices or judge yourself based on, you know, a season that you're in or certain situations that you're going through. But look back, okay, always look back only to see how far you've come, right? And you look forward, of course, to see how much further you have to go, but that you can go, all right? Because it's a non-guaranteed opportunity. You know, you and I were here today. There's a lot of people that went to bed last night thinking they were going to wake up this morning and didn't, right? When they had a bunch of plans laid out for their future. So you take it one day at a time, all right? But you look back. When you look back with gratitude, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? Like hardships, depression, grief, loss, all of that. I feel like you've seen me experience those things, you know, heartbreaks. I feel like those like strong emotions and phases in our lives, you know, you can either, you know, let them destroy you and make you just feel stuck, or you can use those strong emotions to strengthen you. You can decide to transmute it and turn it into something that can make a positive impact in your life or on the world. Like, for example, you know, I struggled a lot this summer, you know, after the election, and then, you know, with my job that I ended up leaving, was a job in tech. And just like not knowing what I'm gonna do now, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna scale my business, right? But even then, like, you know, I'm still struggling with that, you know, like self-motivation and everything. But what I realized is that these phases in our lives are actually opportunities for us to transform, right? It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever watched Dragon Ball Z growing up, you know, like these anime.
That was my show. Got me in trouble a few times too.
One thing I love about these animes like Dragon Ball Z is that it teaches you that it's through pain, it's through loss, it's through grief, it's when you experience rage that you can actually transform yourself and become this Super Saiyan or superhuman, right? Or you can let them destroy you, right? So even like near-death experiences, like I watch these characters and it's like, yeah, like they're there, they're grieving, like they're so heartbroken, or like they lost everything, and then they just get, you know, like they just become rageful or something, and they're like, I'm gonna transform. And I feel like that's what happened to you, in a way, right? You hit this depression a couple of times, 1 year after the other, and you're like, I'm just gonna make something out of it. But also because God helped you, right? And I feel like that's what I'm trying to do now, I'm like, okay, I went through that. I'm gonna make products that are inspired by this experience. I'm going to start a podcast and have something to look forward to so that I'm not bored with life, or so that I have something exciting to look forward to and make the most out of my experience here on earth, right? So nothing is wasted, not even these so-called negative life experiences. Because they're not negative life experiences if you transmute them into something that would elevate you. That would put you in a place where you yourself can make a positive impact in people's lives and maybe help those people who are going through what you went through.
Yes, totally. It's like you said, it's a question of perspective. There's a quote that I shared, so it's a quote, great quote, that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's a reminder that when you see something as a problem, if you actually look at it closely and try to take a different approach, it's actually an opportunity to grow somewhere, right? Whether it be for you, for somebody else, it's still an opportunity. So I actually try not to say problems. I try to use the word opportunity, right? So when a client speaks to me about you have an opportunity to do this, okay, let's see how we can work on that. Yeah. But what about you? What were your if you have like 3 tips for anybody going through either depression, anxiety, because of some of the similar things you've worked, whether it be a huge decision they have to make in their profession and they're not sure if they should leave it or start a business, could be a grief, breakup, family, death in the family, or anything of the case. Like, what would be the 3 things that you would say, the 3 main elements that have helped you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Definitely my relationship with God. So if you don't have a relationship with God, I don't know what to tell you, but you have to believe in something bigger than you, because that makes you, even if let's say you don't think that there's God, believe in something bigger than you so that you have some sort of hope. Like, I'm a Christian. Some people don't think I am though, but I do believe in Jesus. I believe in God, and I believe that God is my Father, and I pray, I just pray to God to strengthen me and to give me wisdom and discernment to make the right decisions for me, right? And I also started doing breath work. That helped me a lot, because I feel like a lot of people, they don't realize that their nervous system is actually on a fight or flight mode. Right? Because they're overthinking. But I feel like once you start doing breath work, it helps you become more present, and it also helps you calm your nervous system, so you're not always anxious, so that you're not always feeling like you're surviving. So yeah, prayers. And when I pray, I don't just ask God to give me this and that to strengthen me. I also practice gratitude. I thank God for everything that I have in my life, and also for answering my prayers. Everything I prayed for, God answered, right? So that's why I'm grateful. So I pray to God, I ask Him for discernment, for strength, for wisdom, guidance, and then I thank Him also. And then I practice breath work. Yeah. So those are like 3 things, right? But if I'm gonna add one more thing, it's also important to surround yourself with people who want the best for you and who can motivate you, inspire you, or at least just even keep you company, and be like, a sounding board for you so that you can express yourself. A lot of people, they don't have that. They can't express themselves, and these feelings that they have that they're not able to express, they get stuck in their bodies, especially on their throat, right? Like, our throat is there for us to express ourselves, or they get stuck on their chest so that they always have that heavy feeling, or get stuck on their head. So they have, like all those unspoken feelings. If you have no one to talk to about them, they stay with you. So release them.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to God about it, but also talk to, friends or family, someone close to you that you can trust, who will not make you feel like you're being judged. Have a person like that and talk to that person about it. That's very, very important.
Definitely. Those are great points. Can I add two things to that? One thing you said, well, the last thing about, having a good community of people that you can trust and be vulnerable to is very important. And that's also a thing that's helped me a lot, is because I started with one of my big brothers who's amazing. He inspired me. His story inspired me. And every time people would ask me, man, like, how do you get that, your energy? How do you get this? And I'm always like, it's God, it's God, it's God. So people started asking me, man, like, I want to learn more about Jesus. So he told me, man, like, why don't you just start like a men's group centered around your relationship with God, with Christ. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it when I have the time. I'll do it when I have the time. Again, to make things for what's important. And then I just felt like after months of not doing it, like the Lord spoke to me. Like, okay, I felt convicted. I was like, okay, let's do it. We started the group, we were 4. Now we're 37 in the group.
Wow,
yeah,
37.
In 3 years, 37 in the group. And so that's an amazing thing. It's a group where we come as men, we read the word, so it's Bible study, but we also share like our struggles. We share our traumas, what we're going through, and sometimes we just, let's sit down and allow another man, because it's hard for men to sit down in a safe space and not feel judged, and literally actually get emotional, right, and not feel judged, because a lot of the time people in society, we use that against them, one way or another. So it's like one of those spaces, and just to see how people are being transformed, it's amazing. So yes, it's important to have that circle of people that will pray for you, that care for you, that will also hold you accountable when they know you're not operating at your highest God-given potential. So that's very important. And the first thing you mentioned about how when you hold certain emotions in, they stay in. Recently, there's some guys that I met who own a fitness company. It's like medical fitness embedded together. And I was on the phone with one of the partners, and we were exchanging. And I remember, like, he told me what they were working on now. He's like, yeah, man, like, we focus a lot on the emotional aspect, because it takes the body a lot more muscular effort to fight emotions and hold emotions than we think. So you see when people like always have this like look on their face where they're always like, they seem like they're always frowning or always mad, or when you're a happy person, you're smiley, and it looks like every time you look at you, it looks like you're smiling, but you're not smiling. So it requires a lot more muscular physical effort. So we need to learn how to deal with our emotions, both physically, right, as in based on what we can see, and the emotion in itself as in what we can feel. So yes, being able to speak to people about it, giving it to God, training, right, taking care of yourself, so make sure that your body, you're putting your body in the best possible position to feel good all around.
Yeah. And I mean, like, if you're already not feeling good, but you're working out and you're happy with how you look, I feel like that also helps you feel better about yourself. Right? Because at least you're seeing progress. If you're seeing progress with your body, if you're not seeing progress anywhere in other areas of your life.
Totally.
Right? Like, I mean, and yeah, so one last thing, okay, before we wrap this up. So the podcast is called Original and Unconventional. What would be your unconventional ideas, thoughts, or beliefs that you would like to share with our viewers today?
Wow, unconventional thoughts or beliefs in general?
Just in general, yeah, that you'd like to share with our audience or viewers.
So it's very good. Some can say it's unconventional, or me being a Christian is conventional. Yesterday I was at our last Bible study session, and I remember we were talking about like some people's personal situations, and then people were giving advice to that person, but the advice they were giving will always start with, as Christians, or not just as a Christian, but even as a person, right? And for me, I just felt uncomfortable. I was like, guys, like, we're Christians, You know, we're not just Christians here. Well, during Bible study, and then when we go out there in the world,
We're pagans.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, no, so it can sound unconventional, but I heard something on a video yesterday, and the person said, "Don't mistake the resource for the source." And he was saying that God is a source, the rest are resources, right? So in a conventional way, where I'm trying to be as extreme as I can to make everything about God, give everything to God, right? And I go to him and I speak to him about any and everything. I'm currently reading the book of Job, and for me it's a fascinating story. And some of the things that he was saying to God, like where he's like complaining to God, like, how can you do this to me, and this and that and that. So me as I'm reading, I'm like, oh man, he's saying this to God, like, you know. But I saw a video recently, and a preacher was saying that the thing about Job is at the end, like God was, you know, honored him, was proud of him. It was mainly because his heart posture never moved away from God. So he's like, he was still going to God to complain, to scream, to whatever negative emotion. It was like, it was to God, right? So I don't know if it's unconventional, but me, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be as extreme as possible to make every aspect in my life good and bad. And trust me, I am not perfect. The first person and last person to tell you that. And I just go to God, even when I fall. Go to God, like go to God about everything. God has to be your everything. It has to be not only a crutch that you need whenever you need to stand on something, but even when you can walk on both feet, he should be the foundation of the ground that you stand on.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing all your insights and how you're leading this amazing life with God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Margie, for having me. And shout outs to Chris, of course, in the back there. Thank you, guys.
Aw, Christian, thank you so
Phenomenal.
much.
Oh, this.